most famous physical therapist on the internet.
Howdy folks, I'm Bob Schrupp, physical therapist.
Brad Heineck, physical therapist.
Together we're the most famous physical therapists on the internet.
In our opinion, of course, Bob.
Today we're going to talk about ankylosing spondylitis, a self-treatment you can do.
That's right, Bob.
Quite a mouthful, Brad.
It is. It is. And ankylosing spondylitis, an inflammatory disease. We're talking about where it affects the spine. Things can actually fuse together. You can get a really rounded, flex-forward posture.
And start compromising your breathing.
Yep, shoulder
all
mechanics.
the problems that come with being flexed like this.
Exactly. So we're going to show you some a good option from an expert in the field.
Yeah, by the way, Brett, I remember when we were first studying this that the spine takes on a bamboo appearance. Do you remember that? It looks like bamboo. You don't remember that, do you?
I do remember. I'm trying to remember the details of it. I mean, that was like a long time ago.
That was like 30 years ago, 40 years ago.
So, are we going to talk about anything else, Bob? We don't have a giveaway?
No, well, we always got a giveaway. You just go to Bob and Brad, go to the giveaway section, and you'll find out what it is, or it'll be pinned to the top of the page on Facebook.
On the Facebook.
And
absolutely.
we always want to mention our podcast. We're quite proud of that. We're interviewing some major authorities on subjects.
As a matter of fact, the person who's leading this treatment that we're doing, we have him on 2 podcasts,
right?
Steve August.
Yes.
Right. So what we want to do, let's look at the area that we're going to focus on with ankylosing spondylitis, and that is the thoracic area, although that's not the only part of the body it affects, but it is a real common area, and that's the part that you get that rounded flex posture. Typically the head forward will come forward a little bit, shoulders round out as a result, and we want to have this as much as possible because, as Bob mentioned, that affects your breathing, which is obviously critical, shoulder mechanics, neck problems, neck pain.
Yes.
So we want to maintain that, and that's where we're going to specifically focus on.
If you were to focus on one area, that's the area you want to focus on.
Exactly.
Because one, you can make the most difference there, I think.
I agree.
And 2, it's going to affect the most things by going bad.
Exactly. So what we're going to do is we're going to use, this is what Steve August, who's a physical therapist and outstanding one. He's
from New Zealand.
Yep. He does continuing or educational things for doctors.
Right.
Diagnoses like this and
Including costochondritis, yes.
So this is specifically made for it. Now, oftentimes we give options like, can you use a tennis ball? Can you use a rolled up towel? For this particular diagnosis, I think it's worth getting a back pod.
Right. It's going to be tough to get the right fit.
Right. Because we want to here, not on the spine so much, but off to the side of the spine.
Between the spine and between the shoulder blades. So
right.
This is kind of made for that area.
Exactly. It gets into the muscles and to the facet joints and helps loosen things up. And we're going to do it at different areas. And you're going to get a feel for this as you do it. It can be pretty aggressive.
Yeah,
initially.
I think for anybody who has ankylosing spondylitis, the first time you're going to want to have the pillows like he recommends. And maybe even a towel over there.
We'll demonstrate that here. So, once you get this diagnosis, you can talk to your doctor if this is going to be an okay treatment. I have a feeling they're going to agree with it. So you should do this. You cannot do this on a bed. It's going to be too soft, and it's going to not do what it needs to do. We can start with 3 pillows. Here we have the back pod. I'm going to start on my left side of my spine, right between the shoulder blades. And then I'm going to actually take a folded towel, put it there for a little cushion so it's not too aggressive.
All these things are designed to blunt the force of it because eventually, hopefully, you can tolerate lying on the device without pillows and without a towel. But to start off with, you want to incrementally go at it.
Exactly.
And he explains this all in the booklet that comes along with the back pod. Yes.
Yep. He does a really nice job.
Really nice job.
Yeah.
It's,
for the layperson.
30-some pages. It's really quite intensive,
So I'm going to start like this, Bob, and what Steve recommends is 1 to 3 minutes. You may not tolerate that initially. If you only go, 30 seconds at first, that's okay. Then you can, move up by moving your body up and down the spine.
Would you have your arms overhead on this one now, Brad? Yet,
Well, that's
to start.
That's a good point. We can go like
Right.
this.
Quite often you'll find out in ankylosing spondylitis, it affects your shoulders too. And
Sure.
partly because the back is affected and the back affects the shoulders.
Right, it's all connected.
Yeah. Well, the inflammatory process is through the body.
Yeah.
So
Now, let's say I do this for a couple weeks and it starts to feel I need a little more pressure. So simply a couple things you could do is one is remove a pillow. You might be ready to remove the towel and you'll definitely feel that change. Now, I use this regularly for costochondritis, a completely different diagnosis, but I started out with a towel under there and one pillow. Now I'm without anything, and I actually find it comfortable and enjoyable. So again, like Bob said, work like this
Right.
and like this, and I just had a little cavitation in my back right now.
in other words, it's back cracked.
Yep. I'm going to go on the right side of the spine now. There we go. And let's say it gets better. Eventually you may get to
That
no
point.
towels, and you may hold your head like this. And this is one thing I do, and I actually lift my butt up. And like I said, I've been using
That's
this
what my wife does.
for about a year now.
She actually swore at me quite a bit because the first time I told her, get on there and don't worry about the pillows. And then she read that about the pillows. And she's like, why did you recommend that? It was too aggressive to start. But she does the same thing now. She lifts her butt up and puts more pressure on it.
And with no pillows, no towel.
No pillows, no
Yep.
towel.
So
yeah. She loves it. It's one of her favorite devices.
I didn't use this for about 5 days because I was on a little trip out in the woods
Right.
with the boys. And I came back, and I could not believe how my back cracked because I had not,
Sure.
worked it with.
I go 1 day without it, and I'm hurting.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. It is a nice device. It'll last.
It's a little pricey.
It'll last forever, though.
But you could drive a truck over it.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
It's very,
Yep,
very solid.
absolutely. So very good. Good luck with it. This is a disease that is pretty serious, and this treatment isn't going to fix you. It's going to
Right.
help maintain it and
Right.
keep that posture as long as possible. And definitely, I think it's worth a try.
As if we already don't have a height differential, you're
Yeah.
making it even
How is
worse.
this?
Thanks.
All right, take care.